stars and co-directors of Good Time, Robert Pattinson, Josh Safdie, and Benny Safdie. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks for having us.
For those who did not watch the film, could you please break down really quickly what it's about, what roles you play?
I'll take the reins.
Okay.
Good Time is about Connie plays a recently released convict, and he takes his brother, his developmentally disabled brother, who he's absolutely obsessed with. He's a romantic psychopath, and he's obsessed with this idea of love. And he takes him to rob a bank with him, and it goes terribly wrong. And one of them ends up in jail, and the other one ends up on the run, and the one on the run spends the remainder of the movie basically trying to get the other one out. And he's kind of cycling through this kind of nightmare of a night and this nightmarish world, kind of, trying to succeed at that.
And you play the brother.
Yeah. And that was what was interesting there was it allowed Rob and I, with that prep period, we could develop like a brotherhood relationship outside of the film that we could then pull on at any moment. Because we would do certain things, just activities in at real locations, just to get a feel for how to interact with one another. And there was a certain physicality that I had that, I remember there was one time where Rob kind of grabbed me to tell me to stop doing something. And we both felt like, uh-oh, you're not supposed to grab Nick. And we were able to develop this kind of back history for each character, and it allowed us to go forward and make kind of a more true performance. So.
The film has received rave reviews and a 6-minute standing ovation at the Cannes Film Festival. I mean, Robert, that must have been incredibly validating.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously always nice to connect with people, but it's been such an interesting journey with this job because it's kind of there was no job before I met them, and to see it kind of develop and see that they were so open, showing all of the kind of different incarnations before it is what it is now, and to see it kind of come to fruition and go to Cannes, which is where I want everything to go, and then for it to be received well, it's great, yeah.
Talk to me about why you chose that title.
So we're not ironic people. So it wasn't meant to be interpreted as an ironic title. The title, originally the movie, a lot more of the movie took place in prison, and Rob's character, we saw him in prison, and then we kind of got bored by what we were writing about for his character in prison. We thought it'd be more interesting if it started after prison, and his character is released on his good time. So in jail, you behave well, you get released on your good time. But we actively looked at other titles, but it became iconic, which we ended up rolling with. And sure, I mean, I think in some idea that the good time is this kind of elegiac dream that he wants to get to with his brother.
So Benny, you get a call from Rob Pattinson, and he says, I want to walk with you.
Luckily, it was an email, so we didn't get jaded by the British accent.
What?
Speak English.
Speak American.
Yeah.
I'm curious about what your initial reaction was when you three actually met.
Rob reaching out, we're like, we should pursue this. Like, let's just see what the deal is, really. And we met up with him, and he brought this explosive energy. Like, he really threw everything out at us in this meeting, and it was intense, and it was kind of amazing. And I've never really walked out of a meeting like that just really feeling, okay, let's do it. It was this kind of quest to be unseen in a way, just to disappear. And he's like, I really want to disappear into a world that you guys are going to create. And that was interesting. I'm like, okay. I remember talking to Josh, like, I think he really meant it too, and like we're gonna take him at his word times 100.
And Rob, you actually did manage to disappear, which is like a David Copperfield type feat, because how do you go from being one of the most recognized people in the world to being able to walk down New York streets and have people not know you? And what was it like to have that level of anonymity finally after all these years?
I knew that if there was any kind of recognition from either people on the street or paparazzi or whatever, like even if there's one person, then that illusion's broken in a second. So I guess, yeah, it was a relief, but also kind of felt like a necessity. So yeah, it was a relief at the end when we finally got through it, and there wasn't a single cell phone picture, which is just like, it was amazing to me. I mean, and a huge relief.
You go through quite a physical transformation as well. You're clearly easy on the eyes. I'm stuttering. You're so easy on the eyes. But you get really greased up, pretty dirty, pockmarked face. I heard you ate tuna out of a can for most of the filming and
Out
lived
of a
in a
sack.
scuzzy apartment. Out of a sack,
Yeah,
even
tuna
worse.
sack.
Tuna sack.
The sacks are actually very good.
The sacks.
They're very.
Oh, it was a trauma. Beautiful organic tuna sacks.
But was there something liberating about not having to be the heartthrob on camera?
I've never really, other than in Twilight, I've never really got another part, I don't think anyway, where it's kind of supposed, you're like the central part of it is that's a requirement. I've always been too scared to do it. Because it's just, you know, it's putting too much pressure on yourself on something which you have no control over, and you know, it's totally up to the audience. Like, what?
So, Josh, in an interview, you once said drama is a drug. Drama is one of the greatest escapes we have. That's why I always equate it to a drug. If you had to choose one drug as a metaphor for this film, what would it be?
I would say speed, because the movie's lightning fast and it never stops, and you don't have Connie's character in particular doesn't have a moment, and the audience doesn't either really, to stop and think about what they're doing. They're just moving forward. So I would say speed. I don't know if you guys would say, I don't know.
Yeah, the speed with some, I don't know, there's some, anything that kind of, that hits you hard when you leave, like when you, I guess speed, when you come down.
A little PCP.
Yeah, something like because when you're done, you're just like, that felt kind of, I don't know how I feel right now. You know? That's kind of interesting.
That's speed.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for being here. Good Time is in theaters now. Please go check it out.